In this study, we are taking a metabarcoding approach to build a monitoring system of freshwater macroinvertebrates in an area that is currently very poorly known, specifically in the Indo-Burmese zoogeographic region of Bangladesh. This is mainly the work of Mizanur Rahman, who unfortunately can't be here at the conference, but you can see him here. The highlands of southeastern Bangladesh, mostly subtropical evergreen forest, a complex mountainous landscape, are very poorly studied biologically and recently affected by numerous threats in this area, such as agricultural runoff, tourism, extraction of building materials, all kinds of pollutions, etc. So Mizan investigated 16 local streams and asking just general questions. So how much diversity is there in this region, how unique it is, how much turnover among sites, and most importantly, can we determine indicators of good and poor ecological status. So the methods are quite standard, so kick sampling and then DNA extraction in a variety of ways, and ultimately MySeq Illumina sequencing. Then after OTU clustering and some stringent filtering, we find some like 1,000 OTUs of the target groups, Insecta, Mollusca, and Decapoda, dominated by, in terms of species richness, by the Diptera, as one might expect, in terms of reed abundance, so as a proxy of biomass, actually dominated by Ephemeroptera. In terms of what these species are, only about 13% of all the OTUs produce a hit with GenBank or BOLD. Mostly some widespread species of odonates and also some invasive mussels. But the great majority does not have a close relative in the databases, and the nearest species are generally coming from China or Thailand. So this analysis gives us an idea of the overall diversity, biogeographic affinities, and the potential endemicity. So next, how would we use these species as indicators of habitat degradation? So we gathered habitat information, altogether 14 variables. From that, we obtained a semi-quantitative measure of environmental integrity for each river, and then link that integrity score to species presence, absence, or reed abundance. And so we would then see, for example, that the species richness, so here shown for the Ephemeroptera, Plecoptera, Trichoptera, would increase with greater environmental integrity. We then test the correlation of environmental integrity with abundance of individual species. We're using a partial correlation networks to establish that correlation. So, for example, if we have a particular set of variables here, the ones that correspond to catchment integrity would see a certain number of species correlated positively or negatively with that set of parameters. We find that there are a few OTUs that are correlated with good conditions. A greater number is actually correlated with poor conditions. So, for example, here we see a species of Ephemeroptera that is less abundant as the ecological integrity increases. The approach also allows us to look at interactions between different species that respond to the same parameters or interact with each other. The very brief conclusions. So we're building a biomonitoring system very rapidly, even with a single expedition of a few weeks. We're taking the DNAquanet approach beyond Europe, and we believe that this study is a model for studies of other poorly known regions on Earth.